Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show. Today we have a special guest, my good friend from Amsterdam, Gene. We met back in December 2017. My band had played a show there, and he was playing right before us. And so we met and had a nice time. And then, January 2020, just before COVID, I met up with Gene to go see Ride at the Paradiso is the name of the place.
Let's see. I think it was, but the club doesn't exist. We were also one of the last bands who played at that venue.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, right. That was the Winston place where we played, right?
Yeah, correct.
And then we saw Ride at the Paradiso together, right?
Yeah, also.
Right. Okay. So anyway, today we're going to talk again. We talked about creativity before. And today I want to talk about creativity and how, because me and Gene, what we share is that we are both guitar players. So we are regularly talking about guitar, music, and also Gene works with a music studio. So he has lots of exciting, fun equipment, which we do video calls and check out our gear. So anyway, we'll start with the first question here with Gene. We wanted to talk about how creativity is a part of Gene's music and musical life.
Well, it helps me to process all the things that is happening in life, and it's also a really fun thing to do because you have to think a lot. You have to practice also, and of course, the most important is that it helps the mind to. Because we as humans, we need something to hold on and something to work for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's kind of a driving force, you know.
Yes, yes. So tell us quickly, a quick introduction about you, your musical and artistic interests. How did you start playing the guitar? How did you start wanting to play with, whereas me, I was a guitar player, but then of course I started really enjoying the recording side of it. So tell us a little bit about how you got started playing the guitar, as well as, wanting to get involved in the recording studio side of things.
Oh yes, when I started playing guitar, I was, I think, 12. I was just kind of an amateur because it was just famous bands like Guns N' Roses and all that 90s stuff, because I'm also a 90s kid, so I just want to play guitar, but hard rock and all that things were not so really a thing for me, so I started to develop my own music taste, and I discovered some gothic rock from the 90s, from this kind of obscure stuff on cassettes and CDs. And later in life, when I was 16, I started to make more new wave post-punk stuff. Yeah. And I did my big 80s hairstyle.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, I also started making shoegaze music because of the soundscape, the type of post-rock, and it's somehow ethereal. And that you can hear sometimes back in the 80s gothic dark wave bands like Cocktail Twins, this Mortarcore, kind of the pre or the proto shoegaze type of music.
Yeah, very ethereal guitars, lots of reverbs, very expansive notes, where the notes are let the notes ring, just ring out.
Correct. Because it is mainly only even 1, 2, or 3 notes or chords. It is all about the soundscape.
It's about the texture, right? Yes. It's how those notes combine to create this texture and this cloud of sounds.
Yeah, correct.
Yes, and
because sometimes you don't have to sing in every part. Of course, the sound has also something to tell, and everyone makes their own interpretation of that type of sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell me a little what got you started also in the recording? Like why, like what, for me, it was just, I don't know what it was. It was just, I think when I was a kid, I would read about, Jimi Hendrix or Jimmy Page. They were very involved in the studio working, involved in getting guitar sounds, playing with new effects and things. So Jimi Hendrix was one of the first ones where I started getting interested in wanting to know what is happening with the recording side of it. And of course, you know how it is. Once you start, then you want to play with the effects. What is the effect? What is the order of the effects? And so how did you first get started in not just guitar? Everybody, many people start playing bands, guitars, but they never they never are interested in the recording or stuff. So how did you get interested in that part of it?
Oh yeah, what I know about many guitarists, they always do lots of techniques and all that stuff, but most of these guitars, they mainly jam or that thing, but it was not really my thing, so I prefer to write songs, so I started to be more like a composer.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started also be interested in recording because you have control how you can make that song.
Yes.
So this is just a thing of, let's say, I don't like to jam, it's just that I want to make finished products, just songs.
Right. And tell us a little bit about the different, I remember you gave me the studio tour with all the different analog gear and why you preferred that kind of gear.
Just because you have this hardware and of course units, you have all the knobs on your directly from your eyes. So I thought on the computer you have lots of menu diving and all that stuff. I prefer to do it in 1 second or 2.
Yeah.
And it also looks sexy to have all this gear in studio.
Yeah. Again, you can finish anything you want to add about why you like the recording process. And
yeah, of course, I have something to say about it.
Yes.
So, and the recording process is just so fun because you have control. Sometimes you work with band members and they have also different ideas to make this song, maybe full or more minimal, or it depends about the taste, of course. And sometimes you have this type of feeling, that is the song.
Right. So do you, like me, do you get stuck sometimes wondering, should I add one thing? Should I fix one more little thing, or is it finished now? Do you have that? Everybody has this, right? Most people in the studio, they will have this problem. Like they will wonder, is it finished? Is it finished? Or do they keep trying? And sometimes some people have the discipline to say, okay, it's finished. Let's move. Go to the next song.
I think you can see it in 2 ways. The other thing is it will never be finished. Or second, you have to make a deadline so you know that you can also move forward to other songs.
Exactly.
Because every story every story have their own ending, of course.
Right, and you can never make it perfect. You can spend forever, but there's no point doing that. So.
Yeah, or just that some bands make some of their songs, they recording their songs after 10 or 20 years.
Yeah.
I would say always stick to the original because the new version is sometimes okay, but not so special as the first one.
Right. And how long do you typically take to record a song from beginning to end?
It depends because I work, of course, with a desk multi-tracker. So that means I don't really use a computer. It's just almost like in an analog way. You have to record it into a tape machine.
Yeah.
You have to do lots of pre-planning and just sometimes doing several takes. It depends what you are asking for guitar or every instrument.
Yeah, but you said something really important, pre-planning, okay? Because many bands don't do this, and I think that's a very important thing that you do, which
they always do it on post-production.
Right. So I think many people I want to point this out because I think many people can learn from this, is that the more you pre-plan, the quicker and easier the whole recording process goes. Of course, it's never easy, right? It's always got, bumps in the road, and there's always some kind of something to deal with. But overall, the more pre-planning you do, it will help the overall recording process because you will think if you write diagram out, okay, this many, I need this many tracks, So yeah, that's something that you brought up in the analog days. People did a lot more pre-planning. We call it pre-production. They would rehearse, they would play, and then they would decide. Like you said, a lot of pre-planning is going there. So I think it's important what you brought up there.
I think it's just really important because then you have already did the most hard work because you know it's a real sound right.
Yes, yes. You've got all the sounds ready. So now when you are going to record, you know which effects will go for what sound, and you've already got everything planned. And
Yeah, indeed. Or you can just record everything already with effects, all that thing. But I would recommend also to record the separate track with DI at the same time. So you can always reamp your guitar part or bass.
Mhm.
So
Right.
you have also different amplifiers to choose from.
So you mainly record at home, right? Obviously, since everything is there.
Correct. But since now I make my studio also kind of somehow portable, so I can also record at different places and then I can mix it at home.
Yeah, that's good. So have you started using a laptop for that yet, or no?
I use only laptop for post-production or
Yeah.
just setting the fader volume like this and maybe some compression, but I prefer to focus on pre-production because I'm more like a composer than really a producer. I've just mainly focused on sound design.
A very core question is, why do you love music? What are the benefits for you?
So
Your personal
thing is,
benefits, yeah.
yeah, the thing is for most of the people, music can understand you really well.
Mhm.
Because I just like music. I've also a great desire for listening to albums and all that things because it's almost like a movie that it will suck you into that world.
Mhm.
It's a really good great escape from reality if something is not good, or sometimes life is sometimes a bit sad or happy. And music, it can help and relieve your emotions.
Mhm. And and this is what it does for you.
Yeah, correct.
Right. What are some of your favorite places to practice or perform?
I would say at home, at some bar or venue. It doesn't matter. I always like to go from one place to the other.
Right. And your band, where do you normally rehearse?
Always at home. We have also these small PA speakers, even though I live in an apartment, but we don't have to play loud because the PA speaker is kind of a small cube speaker that we have it less than 1 meter from us, so we can play it in good volume and practice, or maybe
Mhm.
at home.
Okay, good.
It's like a monitor when you're
Yeah,
playing live.
right.
Personal monitor, of course.
That's good that you're able to do that, and even with the apartment, because that can be hard.
Yeah, indeed, because you have speakers nearby the wall, but the PA systems that I have is just in the middle. So that is where Amber, the guitar, the keyboard player, and singer stands there, and for me, it's just I'm on the right side with a different speaker.
What are your favorite artists and bands? And what do you learn from their creativity? Like specifically, I mean, you can get specifics like how we talked about Cocteau Twins. It's about textures. So something, what do you get from their creativity and what do you learn? Because sometimes I will notice when I'm making some song, I play something and it sounds like something familiar. Like, what is this? And then I realize I'm playing this in my song because it's a natural influence of some song I heard. So, those kind of things. Yeah. So please let me know.
Oh, I can imagine that feeling. I know that really well. I have that sometimes, but I do it much later. Otherwise, every song that I make or write, it will sound every time to an other song, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I always finish it, and then I see, oh, maybe I wrote this song just because of this kind of hidden meaning. Let's say, oh, because I listen to lots of music, then sometimes you will write something that is a bit similar because you have listened to it because you have listened it maybe a long time ago, and it gets stuck in your head.
It's like a subconscious influence. It's way in the...
Okay.
So what's some of your favorite bands and artists?
My favorite is like
maybe tell me some of the bands that are like all your life, they've always been there. They're your longtime influence, and then maybe you can tell me about some of the newer bands that you like.
Of course, my main interest is mainly 80s bands or late 70s new wave post-punk bands like Echo and the Bunnymen, Ian McCall, of course.
Yeah.
It's a type of new wave post-punk band with the influences from the 60s and some psychedelic stuff.
Yes.
The songs are really nice, and I think it is somehow 60s but with an 80s code on it.
Right.
Even though I don't like really 60s music, but my dad is really a 60s guy. So it is somehow nice with this connection.
Yeah, because you can't help it. All the music we listen to is all influenced from before, and it all comes through to us through all those different influences.
Yeah, for me it's just mainly the guitars, the vocals, the bass, of course, and the really diverse drums. I really like the guitars. Is kind of sharp, so I wanted to have this sharp type of guitar sound, but not too sharp, otherwise it would not be pleasant to the ear. So that's why I play on a Fender Starcaster, because it's semi-hollow, so it can be sharp, but it's also warm.
Yes, exactly.
That's why I use that guitar.
Yeah, I have a semi-hollow guitar, so I know exactly what you mean. It's bright, but it's also kind of soft in a way.
Yeah, I like Strato because, of course, I use so many effects that the Starcase is more my personal choice. A Stratocaster just if I play clean, or maybe only chords.
Right, yes. I think we will get into this during the studio tour.
So, yeah, indeed. We will see everything that I have.
So, and then let's ask, and then of course the shoegazer influence, which is how I actually found you, was in one of the shoegazer groups. And so what are some of your favorite bands there, and what do you like from the guitar sounds and creativity in shoegaze and dream pop?
Oh yes, my all-time favorite is perhaps Chapped House, Slow Dive, and of course Blind Mr. Jones. I just like the guitars, the heavy stuff too, and this type of calmness. It is very dynamic guitar type of music.
So asking, what specifically creatively do you get out of what is the creativity of shoegaze that you like so much that inspires you?
It's mainly the soundscape type of music, the really ethereal side of music. And it's kind of almost like a trance that it can suck you into another world.
Yeah.
And maybe it's instrumental too, sometimes vocals, but vocals is only a type of a sub-instrument.
And also how about the difference, all the innovative guitar sounds and tones that they were experimenting with? For me, that was a personal favorite thing. All these unique guitar sounds that nobody had ever heard before, like what Kevin Shields did on Loveless. There was, all these breathing, different colored, moving guitar sounds.
Yeah, I think he also used some rec units like analysis, accord, verb.
Yeah, and the backwards reverb, the famous backwards reverb. And I'll give you a little background what I talked about in my previous video about creativity. Because like I said, what is creativity? To me, creativity is like a supernatural force of the universe, right? Creativity is to me, I see creativity as an element of the entire universe, that it's in the whole universe, and how it's in everyone, and it's everybody's responsibility to bring out their creativity and do something with it. And that it can benefit their lives in a big way. And so let's ask, what is creativity for you?
For me, it means something that keeps you busy all the time, and it is somehow unlimited. Creativity can be really unlimited if you don't stop and
Yes.
always continue. It's a driving force, and it also helps to deal with your own emotions.
Mhm. And where do you think creativity comes from?
I think it's a typical human behavior thing.
Mhm.
That is just it's just to recognize everyone in their own traits and rights, of course.
And why do you think this creativity is important?
Because it helps us to be unique, and it also helps to be creative in our time. Because we don't know where we are heading, because we have so many type of theories what will happen if we are gone.
Mhm.
And what I find it interesting is because sometimes we have this feeling that we know, and sometimes we don't know. And of course, it depends on the person too.
And what are the benefits of creativity?
Benefits is you will have a good time with yourself too. You can enjoy the things that you love.
And for music, what are the benefits of creativity as a musician or an artist?
Because you will be happy with what you make, but maybe you also make people happy with your own music or songs. And it's also a very good thing to see if people can also enjoy your own creativity or your personal view of the world, of about several topics.
Yeah.
And that gives a really, really good feeling.
Yes, definitely. I agree with you. To me, creativity is the main part of my life. Everything I'm doing is driven by some kind of creativity. I want to always be creative in my life. And so
Yeah,
how do you feel creativity benefits you?
for me, it helps to deal with the emotions, and I think it's also because I have some things like I have this verbal dyspraxia. That means I know what I want to say, but sometimes my muscles in the mouth it doesn't move correctly. So some sentence or some words it can sound a bit different for others. So for me, it's sometimes more difficult to tell something. So music it helps to tell it much easier.
So what projects are you currently involved in? Tell us about your bands.
I play in two bands. My main band is called The Medicines. That is a post-punk gothic rock band. We started in 2012. We had different lineups,
Mhm.
but we have released some singles, EPs, and now we are going to record our debut album.
And the other band?
The Teysse, that is my solo project. I make
Right.
folk shoegaze type of music, and
Mhm.
everything is instrumental, so no vocals, drum machine, bass, synthesizers, guitars, and that's all.
Right. Yeah, that's what you were playing when we met.
Yeah, correct.
And also you're DJing. What kind of you DJ different? Tell us about that also. Your DJing performances.
Now I DJ mainly with I DJ with records, real vinyl, of course. So
Mhm.
no digital. So it's just new wave, post punk, indie type of music. But I also can play some 80s punk music too.
And are you still on Twitch, or are you just performing live nowadays?
Let's say I just only do it now spontaneous. Let's say I just do it just sometimes
Mhm.
because I'm just busy with DJing at clubs and venues. So I don't have the time for live streams, of course. I also
Right.
have to spend time in the studio, of course. so I have to make some sacrifices.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would not have the time for everything.
Right. So please tell everybody where they can find you, your social media link, websites. Of course, I will put text in the video of those as well, but let everybody know.
You can find me on Facebook, Teysse, and for my projects, also Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff, the medicines, music.
Mm-hmm. And what's
For the Pulfties, you have to find on just the Pulfties music. And it is also on YouTube, so check it out, but also check In-Depth Music. That is the platform where I support and showcase.
Can you tell us the link name, please? In-Depth Music?
In-Depth, you can find it on indepthmusic.com.
So thank you, Gene, for that. Now we will cut across to our studio tour. Okay, everyone, we are back in Gene's studio, and he's going to give us a little fun tour. Okay, go ahead.
So welcome to my studio. People call it In-Depth Studio because of in-depth music.
Right.
And so these are my guitars.
Okay.
And basses.
Yeah, just to quickly show each guitar there, please.
So this is my Starcaster, the 2016 reissue.
Mm-hmm.
The original was from, let's say, 77 till 81. Only 4 years in production, like the reissue too.
Right.
And now we are going to one of the more modern Fender guitars. The Fender Meteora.
Yeah, Meteora. Okay. And this is your most recent guitar, right?
Yeah, I think 3 or 4 years ago. So it feels like it plays like a Gibson, but it looks like a Jaguar and a Mustang at the same time. So it's kind of a type of an hybrid guitar. And now we are going to the classic Stratocaster.
Yes.
With cherry apple.
And when did you get this one?
So I just got it from a friend.
Is this recently or?
No, this was actually for my dad, but it was specially made in Hilversum. But as you can see, that stock is from the USA. Even though I play mainly Fender guitars made in Mexico.
Yeah, I think that's where mine is from.
And this is my guitar that I use for the Pulfties. It's of course a Les Paul design.
Right. And what color is that? That's like a dark red, cherry red, right?
This is all black actually, with a bit creme white.
Right.
And this is Tankwood. Tankwood doesn't make electric guitars anymore. So they only make acoustic guitar.
Right.
I think this model was from. It was my second guitar actually. My first guitar was an LTD guitar.
Right. Okay.
So, and going to the basses. The bass that I use for the Pulfties, a Marcus Mill bass.
And when did you get that?
5 years ago.
So you use this for all recordings?
Yeah, for future Pulfties recordings in the past, I used let's say an Epiphone SG bass.
Right.
But I sold it because it sounded a bit, to be honest, a bit cheap. So someday I want to have a Gibson SG bass, not Epiphone, of course.
Right.
And now we are going to the base that I use for the medicines.
Mm-hmm.
That is the classic chest base from Fender, made in
Yes.
Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet that sounds pretty good also.
Yeah, and now we are going to my bass pedalboard.
Okay. So let's put that, and then let's see what you have in the bass pedals.
I use an embark preamp and an electroharmonics reverb.
Right.
People use this for guitar, but I would say this sounds also great on bass.
Mm-hmm.
And some delay for some tracks.
So that's the MXR carbon copy, okay.
Klopt.
Okay. Well,
And
the
I
one
think this is the best course.
for bass. Yeah. I don't think I've seen this pedal before, but okay. Yeah.
The most fun thing about this pedal is it will make the low without course, but the high I can do in small. I will play in low note and high notes. So this is without. And now the course. And if I put the X over, so that means no course on the low notes and
Right.
course on the high notes.
I see.
It sounds more balanced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why I use this pedal.
Okay. And
So
what's the white
yep.
pedal down there?
Yes, the bass compressor.
Okay. Okay, so
And
we go to the and what is that? Sorry, the next one?
so that is a tuner. So this is the bass amplifier that I use. This is a very big bass amp, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
It is made in 77 or 79.
Right.
As you can see, this looks like a chess course, but this one is actually for bass.
Right.
Similar design, same era. And lots of EQ settings.
Wow.
You don't see that often
No.
on bass, mainly on the low, mid, or high, or treble, of course. So, and my way of recording the bass is mainly the DI and one microphone, the electro voice, of course, the ER320.
Right. Okay.
So I put the EQ on the mixer with the mid and the treble all the way low, so you have only the low end. So I combine the low end with the DI.
Right. Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. So the DI gets the higher end stuff, and then the bass comes in through there.
Yeah, indeed, because I think if you record on DI, you don't have the best bass response, so you can use the bass low end from the M5 and combine it, so you have the mid from the DI. You have the really bass from the M5, of course.
Okay, so let's go to the next amp that we have.
So we are going now to this is a hybrid guitar amplifier. So that means solid state, transistor, and tube, of course. This is a PVDUS VT series.
And this is a European brand?
American.
Yeah, okay. I don't think I've seen that one before.
So this is I think the 210 series. We don't see it, but I think it is 210.
Right.
This is an amplifier that Leonard Skinner used back in the day.
Yeah. And what do you have below that down there?
I think you can see it. It is the famous chess course 120.
Right. So you have it permanently mic'd up. What kind of mics are you putting there?
So this is a Steinheiser A609.
Mm-hmm.
So I use two the same, but I prefer for recording. I use maybe a different mic, so I have a bit more combination.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just mainly the rehearsal setting.
And you put the glass there for the sound in the apartment, right?
Yeah, indeed. So I can play it a bit loud for recording.
Okay. So
And because of no reflections, of course.
yeah.
And for an apartment acoustic is kind of difficult, so I use just bass speakers, as you can see,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and one for the sync keyboard play, and for me, this one.
Right. Okay. So let's go back to the amps that you were showing me there.
So these were all the rehearsal
Okay.
amps, and I have also a small dedication place for my portable amplifiers for live.
Okay.
So this is the original Roland Cube series from the 80s, not the
Mm-hmm.
2000s before it was, comms simulation amplifiers.
Hmm. And this is what you take to go play shows, gigs?
Yeah, indeed.
Okay.
It has built-in course. It is 12-inch and mono, so this is kind of a portable chess course.
Right. Okay.
And what I find it interesting about this thing is this has a big hole, so that means you can put your adapter easily there, so adapter won't
Mhm.
fall.
Right.
That is nice about this old Cube series.
All right.
Next, bass amp.
Just the bass amp you play for shows. Okay.
This is also a Cube Super Cube bass series.
Okay. All right.
Similar design as the same one, but without the course, of course. So it has some basic EQ settings.
Mm-hmm.
Keyboards.
Okay, so let's take a look at the keyboards now. Please go through the 3 keyboards that you have.
So the keyboard that we use for live is a Roland D50.
Mhm.
So it is a digital synthesizer, but it has analog filters, so has the sound of analog and digital.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, then
And
that one.
Kawai K3, K4.
Okay, and that's used for recording?
Yeah, indeed. We use it for Samsungs, and this is the synthesizer that I use for the Pulfters.
Okay, and then the one below?
This is some sort of performance synthesizer, the Roland Yupte 50. It can replicate most natural sounds, like pianos or
Mhm.
just bass or orchestra instruments, of course.
Mhm.
I mainly put this synthesizer because of the type of filmy strings.
Mhm.
And it has some nice simulation of old Roland synthesizers, like the
Yeah.
classic Jupiters, of course, the Hasa type of instruments, of course.
And what is that pedal you have on top of it?
So that is my vocal processor that we always take for live.
Right, I see. Okay. That looks like it's pretty fun. You can do lots of things with that.
And this is the microphone for live. We always use it for making demos, but we always take this for live performances.
So you like to take your own mic for live performance instead of using
Yeah, indeed, we always use ours.
Okay. And the speakers that you're using right now there, can you show us those?
Yeah, this is a cube. You can use it as a PA or just a personal monitor.
Okay.
And then it is connected to my headphone amplifier, but also mix, so I can use the mix, just use the sound effects as some sort secondary mix. So I can say I want to have more guitar,
Yeah.
or just want to have more keyboard, then I have to put maybe send 2 or 3 a bit high or lower.
Right. And what is
So everything is connected.
and what is that device, the box right below it, right there?
Oh yeah, that's my Boss BR 800. We use it for making demos. So if you have an idea, we can record it in a second or two.
Well, what does it what does it have in there?
Yeah, it has a built-in to machine guitar, bass, and voice, and it is a 4-track. Actually an 8-track record, but it has different separate fader for drums or metronome.
Right, I see. Okay.
So this is used for demo purposes. So we don't have to be behind this desk to write demos.
Right.
So this
you
is
just make it
not lose our creativity.
So you make it to make simple loops or sounds and things to start playing with.
Yeah, instead of that, instead of the computer, we use this one for demos.
Okay. So you use it all the time or just sometimes?
In the past, I used this, but I give it to a friend, but I missed that thing, so I bought a new one for myself.
Okay. All right.
So I can use it for demos.
Okay.
It's a really nice device. I would say just check it out. Not many people know about this unit. You can take it everywhere with you. If you play some guitar, it has battery, so it is portable, and you can see it. And you can bring it to your musicians or friends or rehearsal place. So you can record up to 4 tracks at the same time. So this is my drum machine table.
Okay. So okay, let's go over the drum machines now. Okay. Can you show us starting from the top one there? Yes.
So this is the Med Kit. That is the nickname that we give for the drum machine that we use for the medicines. This is a drum machine from 2003. As you can see, lots of buttons, lots of options to write your own patterns. So you can write up to let's see, 8 patterns for one song, for one pattern. So you have lots of options.
Okay. So you use only this for the medicines?
Correct.
Okay.
As you can see, it sounds a bit natural. This is really good if you have this rock band and we don't want to sound a bit too electronic. This is a bit kind of natural machine. This is the Alisys SR18. I use this for the pulftees. It has a sharp drum sound. So this is the Boss BR880. So this is also a bit similar as the DR3. It was released 1 year later. It is kind of really nice live drum machine, and you can even connect your own guitar. It has some guitar bass simulations.
That's good.
And you can even write your own bass lines in this machine.
That must be good for coming up with ideas also, like demo type things.
Yeah, correct. This is just the two machines if I want to write songs for live. Even though I've also other two machines that we use for the studio, of course. So we can record every instrument separately. This one is just only for live.
Okay, and then this one there below?
So this is my 60-track backing tracker. So you can play back. You can also make your own playlists, live sets, of course. So you can use your own tracks for backing track. I use this one also for the pulftees.
Okay, so let's finish up. What is this drum machine?
The Roland Hume Rhythm 8
Yeah.
from 1989.
You must be able to get some really good vintage sounds out of this.
Yeah, indeed, it's a really heavy drum machine. You can make almost like industrial type of music or heavy rock music.
Mm-hmm.
And you can record your instruments like bass, snare, and all that thing separately, so you have more control from your own drum machine. So
Okay.
that's where the mixer comes. My drum
Mm-hmm.
machine table. So bass, snare, of course, bass, kick, hi-hats, toms, crash, ride.
So that drum machine is hooked up into the mixer there.
Yeah, not everything is connected, so there will be a patch bay with every drum instrument, so I can connect this one into the patch bay.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will go to another patch bay, and I can put some cables here and record over here to my Tascam. It can record up to 8 tracks at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect for drums, of course.
Okay, and then what is the white rat? Okay, we've got something else.
Another drum machine too, from the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
the Roland TR-626.
Wow. Okay. That's
It's an
there.
it's an update from the TR-707, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Also separate drum instruments, and I made some expansions, so it means I can also play the Oberheim DMX, and also a link drum, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you got lots more stuff with that.
Yeah, indeed. Maybe for some songs, for the medicines, maybe to make it more 80s like if I want to.
And what is that white the right there above the drum machine? This Tascam, what is that?
That is a microphone candle strip.
Mm-hmm.
Actually preamp, so I can record every microphone in really high quality. It has analog compressors. I always add some compression before recording, so it is more stable, more balanced. Otherwise, I have to do so much in post production.
So all the microphones are plugged into this.
Yeah, indeed, including the DI.
Right, for the bass and also the guitars and the vocals. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Let's check out. This is your main vocal recording microphone?
For studio vocals.
And what kind of mic is that?
This is the, as you can see, the blue, but I don't see the brand, so I will come late with the model name.
And that is also plugged into the Tascam there, right?
Yeah, indeed.
Okay.
And of course, it's a condenser, so that's why you see 48 volts. Also
Right.
some
Right. You got the
so,
phantom power on there. Okay, I see it.
and all these channels is connected to my studio mixer.
Right. So this is the main mixer, and the other one is mainly just for drums.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, so let's go through this rack here and starting from the top.
So as you can see on the mixer, I connected also some inserts. So it means alt vocals, basses, guitars. It has some compression and some noise suppressor already. So I don't have to do it too much in post production.
So these are DBX compressors and limiters.
Indeed, correct.
And then the silver one there, what is that?
Also DBX. This one is for the studio vocals and also for the bass amp.
Okay, and then the blue box, the blue one below?
My headphone amplifier, so I can connect. So this one is connected to the PA system.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is colored, so I can see, oh, this is for the vocalist. This is for the bassist. And for me, the guitar.
Right.
And everything is connected to the sound effects. So I can see, oh.
I see. Yeah,
So,
it's how it's like similar to how do I do color coding in the music software. I think having the color coding it helps a lot.
yeah, indeed. Because we as musicians, we have already too much cables to work with. So
Yeah.
yeah, musicians struggles.
And then that little box there, not that
Yeah,
one.
if I want to charge my phone or laptop,
Okay. And then to the right, what is that?
so this is my live record, so I can record up to 16 tracks at the same time, but I can also use this as an audio interface, so I can record 16 tracks to my computer.
Hmm. Okay.
So this will be my future interface if I want to make music, and I can also connect it to my patch base, so I don't have to connect it here, but just over here.
Okay. All right, let's go. Keep going to the left here.
So this is my guitar preamp and my bass preamp. I can use this for DIs,
Right.
but or just to record simulation amplifiers, so it can replicate tube sounds,
Mm-hmm.
guitar amplifiers, of course,
Hmm.
like a Vox, of course, a deluxe reverb and some plexi sounds.
Okay. And below that, what is next below that?
Oh, this is just my switch. If I want to have
Okay.
reverb or switch to a different preamp.
Oh, okay. So it's just a controller for that. Okay.
Correct.
See, above that, go up.
So this is my modulation pedal that I use for post production.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I use pedals for post production effects because some pedals sounds really good on vocals or guitars, basses, or even drums.
Okay. And next to that.
This is my delay pedal that I also use for the same purposes.
Right. So it's after recording.
Yeah, indeed, or before. So I think it can be pre-production or post. It doesn't matter. So this is my post-production rack. So this is things that I can use after recording or before. Reverbs, microphone simulations.
Okay. So let's start with the top unit. What is the top one?
This is my Parametric EQ.
Okay. And next below that, the Teysse electronics.
This is, let's say, this is a compressor. It has some presets.
Mm-hmm. And the next one below.
Yeah, modulation, delay, reverb, multi-effect rack.
Mm-hmm. And then below that.
This is mainly for microphones and all that thing, but I use this also for drums, so I can make some drum instruments a bit more lively.
Mm-hmm. I see. So you can also put a mic in there. Okay. And the next one here, Yamaha.
And this is a late 80s reverb multi-effect machine. The famous Yamaha F7.
Mhm. I see. Rev 7 there. Okay.
Correct.
All right. So let's go next to the left. What's that?
So this is the famous Opheim DX machine.
Yes.
I use this for the Madison studio drums, so to make it really type of 80s.
Yeah. All right. And next.
So this is my studio controller for monitors
Right.
and for mixing, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to have a single knob version of that, but I don't use it anymore. All right. So what do you have up there?
So what we have, these are my cassette machine and also that, so I can record some demos or audio into these machines.
Mm-hmm.
So I can save some songs without losing the material.
Okay. And
And these are also multi-effects. Also for post-production too.
Right. So what's the first one is, can you zoom in to the first one?
That is een DOT 512 multi-effect.
The next one is a PV. Okay. It's also got more effects.
Yeah, it has some nice reverbs too, including the reverse reverb.
Ah, there we go. Okay, and the next one down there, Teysse Helicon.
So this is for
Sure.
vocalists. So you can have some harmonizations and all that stuff.
Yeah, they make good stuff for voice. So next.
Correct. So this is a microphone simulation. You can simulate up to more than 100 microphones. I can change the response of every microphone. So I can make a shirt to a Sony, of course. Very handy.
Those things are awesome. Yeah, the Antares did lots of software microphone modeling also.
Yeah, they are also known from the autotune
yes.
rack unit, but also for what many people use nowadays too.
Right.
But I skip autotune. So this is my listening corner, so I can play some music if I don't want to play music. Just listen.
Yeah.
So this is a kind of an 80s setup.
Yeah. Okay, and now the main recording box there to the right.
So my Tascam DP42SD multi-tracker.
And you record everything here?
Yeah, indeed. What I said for post-production, we use sometimes a laptop or another laptop from a friend. So we have it over here.
Okay. So I guess.
So everything's connected to, and if I want to practice, it is also connected to my cube, so I can rotate.
Okay, that looks like we got everything. That's good.
Correct. That's it. So this is my studio, in-depth studio, where I make music and write all my songs.
Yeah, it's so great to be able to have a place where you can do stuff just like, I mean, because now, you know, whenever I want to work on some music, I can just go and start very quickly. I don't have to wait a long time.
Yeah, and if I'm lazy, I can sit or even sleep. And some people also like to sleep in studio, so I make a bed for them. So they can sleep here between all my equipment.
Yes.
It's like a candy store for them.
Yes, it is. So hopefully sometime this year I will get to come visit and see myself.
Hope to see you also. And also make music or even play together like
yes, we will. Thank you so much, Gene, for the studio tour. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It was fun to talk with you all about these things, especially about music and gear.
Yeah, me too. All right, thank you, everybody. Goodbye. Say
bye.